New troubling research reveals that many Americans are considering cheating to get their preferred candidate over the line. The big number, an estimated 45 million fraudulent ballots in this high-stakes 2024 election. A survey by the Heartland Institute, a conservative think tank, found that nearly a third of voters would cheat to get their presidential candidate in office. And if you calculate this based on the previous voter turnouts, that would come to nearly 45 million ballots possibly being fraudulently cast if they are not prevented. The survey also showed 27% of Biden supporters said that they'd consider ballot trickery. And in a previous video, we talked about how Milwaukee Elections Commission Deputy Director Kimberly Zapata was being found guilty of illegally requesting military ballots and sending them to the home state of Representative Janelle Brandtjen. Now, the prosecutor in this case said that Zapata used their position to commit fraud, while her defense attorney said that she just wanted to expose loopholes in the election system. Many people see her as a whistleblower. Her defense attorney, Dan Adams, said that she was showing the truth with an imperfect action, but a truthful action of what was going on. Now, speaking of the truth, there's also former President Donald Trump telling his supporters about the rigged election and how the proof is all over the place. He pointed out how his critics talk about the big lie that Donald Trump is supposedly lying about really winning the 2020 election. Well, for Trump, they're the big lie. He says the big lie is a lot of bull crap, and that's what it is. And now, former President Donald Trump is also refusing to unconditionally accept the results of the upcoming 2024 presidential election. Trump said that if everything's honest, he'll gladly accept the results. He doesn't change on that. But for Trump, if it's not, you have to fight for what he called the right of the country. Now, Donald Trump's legal and campaign teams, they seem to be on the lookout for some major election shenanigans. For one, Donald Trump claimed that Democrats want undocumented migrants to come into the country to impact the election. The former president's supporters are on the same boat. Poll after poll shows that a large portion of the Republican electorate believes that the only reason Joe Biden is president are voter fraud and Democratic dirty tricks. And the views have firmly taken root with many of Trump's followers, as interviews with 50 Republican voters across a dozen states showed. The majority of these interviewed voters said that they were not prepared to accept the Biden victory as legitimate, potentially setting up another presidential election and potentially a volatile aftermath in which a large part of the public refuses to believe the results. Me? What I just want to say here is that it's time to pay attention. Today, we're looking into the preparations for and against voter fraud this coming November election. So I hope you guys are ready. We're diving right in. All right, so first, evidence of fraudulent voter registration in Muskegon County, Michigan, coming from a voter registration organization called GBI Strategies. Check this out.
This all centers around, according to the Michigan GOP, a voter registration organization called GBI Strategies. In the paperwork I reviewed today, the company's name is redacted. These documents are from the Michigan State Police, and they detail their investigation into the allegations of an organization submitting fraudulent voter registration information in Muskegon, with the investigation beginning in October of 2020. In the documents, it was a Muskegon city clerk who first noticed the issues with some voter registration applications, which prompted the involvement of law enforcement. Things like Muskegon High School, listed as a residential address, tipped off the clerk, as well as there being signatures that looked the same or signatures that didn't match with the Secretary of State approved signatures. Detectives with Michigan State Police seized evidence of the unnamed company and worked alongside Muskegon Police collecting that evidence. Again, the Michigan GOP says GBI Industries is at the center of the investigation. Also commenting on weapons found, that information that weapons were found and seized by authorities is confirmed in the documents obtained by Fox 17.
Like I've been saying, guys, we have to be vigilant, especially as this could very well turn out to be the most important election of our lives. And frankly, the news that have been coming out recently, it just sent shivers down my spine. Like, for one, the new troubling research from conservative think tank Heartland Institute, it revealed nearly a third of voters would cheat to get their preferred candidate over the line. Their survey of 1,467 voters took an unusual approach. They presented respondents with various types of dodgy voting and asked them if they would consider bending the rules themselves. They were asked if they might vote in multiple states, destroy or even alter mail-in ballots of friends or family, or pay a fellow voter a few bucks for a tick in a box. They were also asked if they would give another voter false information about where, when, and how to cast their ballot. Now, granted, only a small portion of voters said that they would consider cheating in each scenario, but added together, they found that more than a fourth of voters would consider some type of fraud. Now, according to researcher Jack Farron, overall 28% of all respondents stated that they would resort to at least one form of election fraud if it propelled or at least helped propel their preferred candidate in office. Doing the math, that means that if voter turnout remains similar to 2020, nearly 45 million ballots will be fraudulently cast if they're not prevented. Among the Biden supporters, fully 27% of Biden supporters said that they would consider ballot trickery, compared to 29% of Trump backers. The survey also revealed that the most cheating-prone group is young people, at fully 52% of adults aged 18 to 39 would bend the rules to get their preferred candidate over the line. Now, this is much higher than the 15% of those aged 65 years old and above who would cheat. So you can see why this is concerning, guys, right? I mean, this survey comes 29 weeks before an election in which election integrity is frequently cited as a concern. Now, just recently, former President Donald Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson were together in an appearance at Mar-a-Lago to question the integrity of America's vote. Now, the two focused on immigration and other hot topics, with Johnson saying that there are so many millions of illegals in the country that even if a fraction were able to vote, they could swing the election. Now, Donald Trump also said the 2020 election that he lost to Biden was rigged, and that 2024 could go the same way. And not really surprising for anybody, but Donald Trump has been indicted in what he calls a political witch hunt because of his trying to overturn the results of the 2020 defeat in the run-up to the political movement of his supporters at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. Bottom line here, guys, there's a need to secure the election and its integrity this November. Officials are already warning that if state lawmakers do not succeed in getting better election integrity laws in place, Americans will cheat in the 2024 presidential election. And how do they know that? Well, because people are openly admitting it. Just look at these survey results that I showed you guys. Mississippi, Missouri, and Oklahoma, they've already made voters sign mail-in ballots in front of a notary. This should be a nationwide norm. Then there was former Milwaukee Election Commission Deputy Director Kimberly Zapata, who tried showing the state how easily you could get illegal ballots. And we're just in the middle of this video, guys. Now, if you're just as concerned about the integrity of our elections and making sure your voice is genuinely heard, then I need your help. Make sure you hit the like button if you're with us on uncovering the truth and standing up for what's right. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing helps us keep you informed with the most up-to-date investigations and insights, especially as we approach these pivotal moments in our democracy. And if you haven't already, do share this video with friends and family. It is vital that everyone gets involved and stays aware as we head into these elections. We're in this together, guys. Every like, every subscribe, and every share counts towards safeguarding our electoral processes. All right, so let's stay vigilant and let's keep pushing for transparency and fairness. Thanks for being a part of this community, guys. All right, let's get back to the facts. So we've definitely covered Zapanta's case in a previous video or two, but just a real quick recap here. Zapata is the fired Milwaukee Election Commission Deputy Director accused of illegally requesting military ballots and sending them to the home of State Representative Janelle Brandtjen. So the prosecutor in this case said Zapata used her position to commit fraud, while her defense attorney said that she just wanted to expose loopholes in the election system. Prosecutors say in 2022, she ordered military ballots using names she made up, but Zapata told investigators she was trying to prove that there is fraud in our election system. She said she never intended for the ballots to be processed. In fact, court documents say clerks sent 3 ballots to the same home of State Representative Janelle Brandtjen, who then reported them to the authorities. See, in Wisconsin, military voters do not have to show a photo ID to receive an absentee ballot. And according to Milwaukee Election Commission Executive Director Claire Woodall, they receive about 300 military absentee ballots. Approximately 5 to 7 of those were fraudulent. So Zapata's defense attorney Dan Adams described her as a whistleblower. She was showing the truth with an action, an imperfect action, but a truthful action of what was going on. And quite a few people I talked to about this agree. Their opinion, as long as she didn't cast the votes, she's a whistleblower. So now their faith in the judicial and voting system is shot. But what really surprised me about this is that it seems that they did nothing about the problem. After the state prosecuted this whistleblower, what did they do to fix the broken mail-in ballot system? Now, as far as I can tell, they did nothing. But hey, feel free to contribute to the discussion if you guys find something yourselves. Our comment section is always wide open. I welcome the truth, truthful information, and insider tips from our community and boots on the ground. Now, as for Zapata, she's been operating in a gray area. Then again, she also proved fraud was possible through her method. Some even say she should be awarded and promoted. What do you guys think? Now, another big name that's watching the 2024 election closely is, of course, former President Donald Trump. Now, like I shared earlier, Trump said that he's only going to accept the 2024 presidential election result if and only if everything is honest. Trump said that if everything's honest, he'll gladly accept the results. Otherwise, Trump says you have to fight for what's right of the country. Trump said he would let it be known if he thought the 2024 election wasn't honest, but he anticipated that it would be. He also said they also expect to win, maybe very big. Then he added that he wants people that vote to cast an honest ballot and for the ballots to be counted honestly. What he doesn't want, according to him, is people going to legislatures and getting things not approved and then doing it anyway. Now, this may be him referring to what he and House Speaker Mike Johnson talked about in a news conference. They said that they wanted to draw attention to what they say are state protocols and lawsuits that would allow non-citizens to vote. Now, currently, federal law bans non-citizens from voting in federal elections. Non-citizens who illegally cast ballots risk fines and face up to a year in prison and deportation. But Trump is claiming that Democrats want undocumented migrants to come into the country to impact the election. Majority of Republican voters who were interviewed by NBC News are inclined to think the same. They say that they were not prepared to accept a Biden victory as legitimate, potentially setting up another presidential election and potentially a volatile aftermath in which a large part of the public refuses to believe the results. Trump himself would not dismiss the possibility of violence around the election in his interview with Time magazine. He says it always depends on the fairness of the election. So yeah, guys, if you weren't tuning in before, you should definitely tune in now. And as my uncle said, the soul of our nation could be at stake in this coming presidential election. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have that notification bell turned on. Let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like they could be up to something in this November election? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read them before our next video. Now, as always, thanks so much for watching. Double thanks for hitting the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.